my paper. This is a case study. Indeed, you will see the difference between the title, which is in your catalog, mention about the northern parts of Iraq. So in case we are in the southern part, we ought to do some inclusion for which is included northern and southern part of Iraq. There is a relationship. The previous study of mine, PhD thesis, I was based on the study of the source rock, which is going to generate the oil in Iraq, in the northern part of Iraq. So I will find the Sarkar formation as the main source rock for generate oil at that time. Future studies based on also the same procedure which have been followed up in the northern part, also the evidence is or the result is coming similar to my work, also approved that the source rocks, also the Middle Jurassic Sarkar formation is the main source rock which generates the oil even in southern parts of Iraq. So, the geochemical correlation. Our study in geochemistry depends mainly on how to find the similarity, how to do correlation, because we cannot do any conclusion or do any results without depending on so many studies in so many areas, which is based on this type of study. This study, of course, as you see here, geochemical correlations and characteristics of Amara crude oil within Zagros fault belt, South Iraq. Okay, so this is the area of study. The main area of study mainly depends on the study of more than 13 or 14 wells here, oil exploratory wells. Then, as we find, as our conclusion is that the oil here is mainly generated from Sarkar formation. So, as I told you, all the research which have been done and accomplished here, and we are going to see it now, which is enlarged here in this area, also proved that the main source rock for this oil, which is discovered here, is affiliated to Sarkar. So geochemical study always concerned with study the genetic relationship. So we have two approaches. We are going to talk about the precursors and the results. So no results without any precursors. As we say that it must be the grandfathers for the recent oil which we have been now dealing with it. So the grandfather or the precursors of the oil should be determined very clearly, because we are here at recent study, we are dealing with total petroleum system studies, which includes the generation, migration, and accumulations of oil. Also, we are dealing with elements, total petroleum system elements. We must have a thick oil-prone source rock, good oil-prone source rock, and good reservoirs, extensive reservoirs, and good seals. All these parameters, all these elements should be available. Otherwise, we are not going to find typical reservoirs which is available in Iraq. So, as it is a case study, I have been recovered 14 crude oil samples from different formations, age, of marine carbonates, non-degradated. This is all these parameters, all these consequences is my conclusion. The levels of maturations are relatively varieties for each samples, from low to moderate source, from Jurassic age. Jurassic age in Iraq, as it is in Arabian Gulf, is very informative, very remarkable age, because our previous study concerned mainly and based on studying the lower Cretaceous source rock, which all the experts assured that the main source rock for Iraq is in lower Cretaceous. At that time, the samples is not available. But after that, as the samples is available, we are going to analyze in details and found that Middle Jurassic Age is more formative and more remarkable, and it is mainly going to generate soil because the total organic carbons, which is known as TOC, is extraordinary. It exceeds more than 4%. And 4% means that there is an excellent organic matters which is contained in the source rocks. Otherwise, in case it is less than 0.5, we are going, in monitoring, in screening, we are going to neglect it. We are always depends mainly on the source rock which have that total organic carbon exceeds more than 1, and 2, and 4. Once upon a time, when I present my paper, I will mention that the TOC in certain oil fields in Iraq reached to more than 18%. One of the audience suddenly interrupted me and said that you are exaggerated. You are exaggerated. And I tell him that this is a laboratory work. This is not my work. The laboratory work indicates that there is more than 18% TOC, total organic carbon, in the source rock. And the other expert, which have been, maybe he's one upon a time, he's working in IPC, Iraq Petroleum Company, for more than 5 or 6 decades. He will stand up and say, yes, is it true? He is not exaggerated anymore. Is it true? I don't know his name, but
Adnan.
He's a real witness. He said, yes, he's, that's all. Okay. Our study depends on Al-Fakka and Bozorgan, Abu Gharab, Al-Faya, and the Imara oil fields. These samples suggest the age and paleo environments of the source rocks. Organic chemistry, in case no one have any idea about the organic chemistry is recently studied, and recently all the universities, all the schools is going to follow this approach. This approach means that the study of organic chemistry depends on pyrolysis, depends on gas chromatography, depends on gas chromatography, mass spectrometry. All these apparatus is indeed giving us so many parameters. These parameters indicate that there are remarkable digits or values that refers mainly to our initial study to determine whether there is a promising oil field or not. So, the applications of chemical principles, origin, migration, to the study of accumulations and alterations of petroleum, oil and gas, and the use of this knowledge to explore for recovery petroleum. So, terpene and steroids, as I told you before, that terpene and steroid is a parameter, is a biomarker parameters. So, the biomarker parameters is mainly based on something which is sourced from as a grandfather of precursors. So distributions of, and also we are depending on stable carbon isotopes. Stable carbon isotopes give us the affiliations of oil. And we are mainly divided the oil and classified the oil according to families. May we call the oil which is generated from Jurassic period, we call it family A. And maybe we find another family for oil or another source for oil which is belong to Triassic age. We must call it family B. So in case there is so many families, we are here to going to prepare an exploration map to determine the families of oil which is separated in this country. So, according to Tisot's Alberta classifications, we are mainly dependent on the classifications of the others. We are mainly dependent on the previous works for the others because they are doing schematic sections and to certain classifications we must follow what we have done. So we are depends on many lithologies. Crude oils may be taken recovered from so many periods of time, beginning from Jurassic, maybe from Triassic, Jurassic, Cretaceous to Tertiary. As it is a case study, we have been so many values, but I have been putting here in order to show you the oil number, the oil, the depths, the formations, pristine over fighting, over carbon, over etc. So many values. All these values is going to give us certain results. We are depending on that results in order to determine which is a promising area for generating soil or not. And as you see here, I will show you in the map that the extension of Kirkuk oil field within the zone that extended to Imara. So, as you see here, look at the numbers here, pristine over fighting. So, as you see, the pristine over fighting here, look at the 0.89. This is in Al-Fakka and Buzurgan and Imara. It is similar to the Kirkuk Baba oil field, which is recovered from Upper Manchuria. So there is geochemical similarities between both of the oil fields, even it is in the northern parts or in the southern parts of Iraq. Pristine over fighting is a carbon number. It's a saturated isoberinoids representing carbon 19 and fighting is represent carbon 20. So in case the pristine over fighting decreases over less than 1, it means that there is a various depositional environments. We are also dealing with environments. The environments here may be oxic environment, which is going to generate gas or free gas or subordinate gas. And we are dealing also with anoxic environment, which is a reduction environment, no oxygen at all in that area. So this area is promising to generate oil. This indication, as a biomarker indication here, in case there is a differences between pristine over fighting, it will give us an indication that there is a generation of gas or there is a generation of oil. So, as you see the geochemical similarities between both of them and other evidences here. Pristine over fighting, just for your knowledge, represent carbon 19 and carbon 20. For rock and oil samples within the oil generating window, pristine over fighting correlates weakly with the depositional redox environment. Redox conditions means anoxic environment, which is less in oxygen index and high in hydrogen index. So, high pristine over fighting, as I see in my study, exceeds more than 3 indicates heterogeneous organic matter input under oxic condition, while low values, less than 0.8, typify anoxic, commonly hypersaline or carbonate environments. However, most crude oils have pristine over fighting that fall within a fairly narrow range between 0.8 and 3, which while still influenced by depositional redox condition, is influenced by other factors. It also interpreted that the redox conditions of the source rock depositional environments, crude oil, pristine over fighting, in case it is less than 1, in crude oil indicates anoxic source rock deposition, while pristine over fighting, while it exceeds more than 1, indicates oxic deposition, and at that time there is generations of gas, Also, oxy deposition crude oil from shale source rocks having high values for the canonical variable CV and pristine overphyting. For carbon-15, saturated and aromatic hydrocarbon fractions, as sulfur, reach more than 0.47, indicates mainly waxy heterogeneous. Look at how the characterizations of oil is being identified according to the values which is given by the investigations or by experiment. Also, as you see here, also East Baghdad is included within these similarities of geochemical similarities. In case you notice the values here on Al-Fakka and our Oligosi and also Al-Fakka and other well, you see pristine overphyting 0.83, as you see here 0.83. So there is a good correlation between the north and south and middle of parts of Iraq. Another cases here, I have been taking so much samples for this study. So indicates the pristine of the fighting rule. Gas chromatography is separations of carbon. This is the method of how to make isolation of the carbon. This is the initial work. After we determine that the TOC is remarkable or promising, we are going to test the oil by doing GC. GC has given us the number of pristine and overphyting, which enabled us to calculate the other procedure. Here is the identity. Here is the as we say that the biomarker is given by terpene and styrene. All these details is taken from this. So it indicates that the marine carbonate is the source of the rocks. This is the genetic euphrates. The age is Jurassic, thermal maturity. And about the maturity, we need, of course, to know something about the burial history of the organic matter, which is simply cooked, just like how to cook food. Also, there is a kitchen here. All organic matter which is deposited in anaerobic environment basin needs a thermal barrier, thermal history for this accumulations of organic matters. So it must be cooked by certain types of gradually increasing temperature. Otherwise, if there is an igneous body close to this organic accumulation, it's going to invert it quickly to a gas. But in case there is a gradual increasing of temperature with the variable depth, according to the depositions of so many formations with periods of time, this means that it reached to the maturity. There is a degree of maturation. The maturation between two limited degrees, between 50 to 70 degrees up to 150 degrees. This is the oil generations window. Otherwise, in case it exceeds that 170 degrees centigrade, all the organic matter is converted to a gas or thermal gas. So many studies according to terpene styrene indicates that there is identical between, as you see here, the peaks in carbon 70 and the others is equal to the other schemes. This is another evidences. According to carbon, saturated carbon and aromatic. As you see here, there is a close number between saturated and aromatic, especially in carbon oil field. I studied here Baba and Shurao, Jambur. All these indicates, as you see here, that the numbers of the carbon saturated and aromatic carbon will be close to each other. This means that the oil is belong to the same family. The same family, according to the identical. So the same family, which is sourced from the Jurassic South Formation. And as you see here in the south part of Iraq, also the indications of carbon saturated carbon and aromatic will also close to each other and look like the the values which we have been gained or we have been obtained from the northern part of the island. This also means that the main source of these formations belong to Middle Jurassic Circle Formation. Our conclusion is our fingerprints of all crude oil determined highly corresponds to all previous, as I say here and as I declare here, that corresponds to all previous studies that refer to circular formation as the most dominant of source rock. By the way, circular formation is not restricted in oil in Iraq. Also, the extension of this formation to reach to Kuwait and to Syria, and have so many equivalents to this formation. Anybody must ask me why the supergiant oil fields in Iraq is so dominated, and it's concerned to the circular formation. Circular formation, as I told you formerly, that there is an extraordinary thickness of this formation extended from northern and southern part of Iraq. It reached attained to 200 meters to up to 400 meters in the southern part. So imagine this thickness, this kind of thickness of source rock, which reaches to this thickness, how much with DOC, with total organic carbon, with extraordinary presence of hydrocarbon. Imagine how much oil it's going to form. For this reason, everybody will say the Iraqi oil is not going to exhausted anymore. According to what we have been in our country, circular formation, is it true?
Maybe. Maybe in Kurdistan.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you quite a lot, yes, Iraq. Yes.
Thank you for the excellent presentation. Thank you. We are focused on crude oil. What's about the field gas, like Mansouriya and Siva and Agaz, and I mean Western Desert? Is it another story?
Yes, of course, yes. But lacking in the oil exploratory wells, no wells available on that area. But really, believe me, I would consider there is a family C. A family A is a circular formation, and B is Triassic, belong to Butman, and the formations which is mainly located in the near Zafo formation. All the oil is belong to another family. It's belong to a Triassic age, yes. And I will say something for what experts asking me. What about the Western Desert? I think the Western Desert is promising not for generate oil.
No.
It's going to generate because it belongs to Paleozoic. So maybe a super giant gas fields over there, because as you know, it is close to the basement. So the temperature is very high. Organic matters will be completely cooked and will convert it to a gas. As you see in CAS 1 and CAS 2, extraordinary gases will be exported from that area. So in case there is so many oil wells, we are going to determine that there is another family, three main families in Iraq, which is belong to Paleozoic, Mesozoic, and Mesozoic, I mean Jurassic and Triassic age. No, Mr. Field.
شوية نغير ممكن نغير. Thank you very much for your good presentation. I have two questions only. The first, can we say now Kilikan Shale shared with Sargilu and generating? Sure.
A close friend and twins with Sargilu.
Okay. That's a very good idea.
In case my presentation focused on northern part, I will mention the Naukilikan formation because, as I see it,
Naukilikan and Romania and which corner?
Naukilikan and northern part. I see
northern.
my Mount oil eyes, and I finished and I accomplished analysis, geochemical analysis by my own hand, in my own certain my local labs, there is no any difference between Naugilican and Sargon.
No difference.
There is no any.
Good, good.
As it is, but the main difference is the extension of the formation. Sargon's extension is extraordinary for almost all Iraq and the surrounding countries. But Naugilican is restricted for some years. Yes.
Okay. Second question. Is there any possibility of methane migration from pre-Jurassic into the Cretaceous succession, especially within the Yamama?
As the PhD students' conclusions I have been seeing before, all of the conclusions refer to the Middle Jurassic age. As they told them, because they are accomplished their analysis abroad in the United States, or as you know in Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
Almost all the analysis have been performed over there. They have no any idea about the formations in Iraq, but also they are referring to the Middle Jurassic in Iraq. So the oil of Mishrif and other oils, all the reservoirs, in case they are doing a published study, refer to the Middle Jurassic age, which is known in Iraq as a Sargon or Naugilican.
Sorry. Third question is Marat, which is equivalent to our Mus formation, Middle Jurassic, it is an indigenous oil or migrated? Migrated from where? Pre-Jurassic?
Janet Pittman of USGS
Mus formation.
accomplished a study and referred to as a petrol model. She's done a petroleum model. She referred to the Mesopotamian Basin as a huge generations of oil. And because, as you know, for decades we are not drilling so much oil wells, so all the pathways refer to the migration toward the southern parts of Iraq and to the western part of Iraq. But as you know, there is a Mujir fault. This is a barrier, it's not limited, not permit to the oil to migrate sufficiently to the western part. But all the oils, as it is declared from her model, refer to the migration southernward, and for the mainly to the قطاع جديد السماوات. السماوات.
Sorry, this is for North Rumelia and West Gurna. Mus formation, let us to say Marat, which is equivalent to Marat in Saudi Arabia, produced from one well, West Gurna 15, and Rumelia North 172, more than 5,000 barrels per day condensate, not liquid hydrocarbons. So do you have any idea from where these condensate generated? Is it came from the pre-Jurassic as the migration of the methane gas, according to Al-Haba theory? You know Al-Haba, 1987 theory.
As a geological interpretation, as you know, the Mesozoic period, especially in Jurassic period, there is the regressions of the beginning of the form of new tethys, and the wide regressions and the wide and huge, tremendous amounts of organic matters will be deposited at that area. So there is not even one basin, there is sub-basins over there. These basins are very informative, and they are given according to the evaporations and the sealing with other factors and other elements which have been mentioned here. All these forming typical reservoirs in Iraq, which is going to generate a huge quantities of oil.
Because Marat, which is Mus formation, the stratigraphic position at Daya anhydrous oxygen.
Yes, yes.
Most,
Yes.
and then عدايا نص علام. The both above, are anhydrous. So they are a little bit dense, compact successions. From this formation got its condensate. Is it indigenous?
I don't know
Or
exactly.
sub-basins, my God.
I don't know exactly.
Yes,
why
no, exactly.
the Jurassic period in Iraq is not also
Beautiful.
very beautiful, very beautiful. So I love it. It's going to generate oil and also it's going to reserve oil. So this is a magic point.
Yeah, and it's also at the same time.
Yes, at the same time.
Reservoir.
But depends to the tectonic of the area.
دكتور الميكروفون بإيد الأشياء. مش العقل.
Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Do you have any explanation for the H2S dramatic increase in Yamama Formation Gharaf field, which is 18%? By the way, Marat, I have some information about Marat field in Kuwait near Iraqi borders. H2S 1%, 40%.
I have no idea about it. If you have any idea, please. But mainly depends on the presence of H2S and S. Depends mainly on the depositional environment. In case it is a marine environment and there is a heterogeneous environment, this is the various environments for the presence of sulfur here. Because as you know, in marine environment, there is an iron ions here that's going to react with sulfur and decrease the amount of it. In heterogeneous, there is no any presence of iron ions. So the H2S will be so much dominating over there. This is the beneficial study of geochemistry for that. Thank you very much.
And this field, they got a very good core section. So it is very well studied in Northern Kuwait. But till now, no any answer from where this high.
According to the depositional environment.
Yeah, of course.
As I
One of the employees in Kuwait Energy told me a well near Iraqi border exploded and the H2S 40%. He mentioned if the wells are not controlled, maybe all Kuwaitis are bad.
I told you something that, as you know, as I told you before, that there is increasing temperature beneath the surface as you're going to the beneath of surface. So the first generations of a biogenic gas is formed initially. No need to more temperature, no need for more heat. After that, when the temperature is increased, the organic matters will begin to mature. In terms of the maturation. More than 170 degrees. This is extraordinary temperature. It's going to generate thermal gases, which is maybe free.
And the succession there more deeper than ours.
Yes, that's the matter. That's the matter.
It's also very important for the HSE.
Thank you for your presentation. Our oil fields in southern Iraq is oil, except one field, is gas, and seabed gas field. Is there any reason for this irregularity of distribution of hydrocarbon in southern Iraq?
This is depends mainly on how much the temperature at, and it's mainly on thermal burial history.
Okay, but gas and seabed formation, seabed field of Yamama formation. Yamama formation,
there is one case, there is one case I forget to mention. In case there is accumulations of phytoclasts, because the main origins of oil is three parameters: bacteria and algae and air plants. Algae, as you know, is a biopolymer. It has proteins, carbohydrates, sugars, fats, waxes, and so many things. It's very complex molecules. then it is promising to generate oil. Otherwise, bacteria also have the same components, chemical components. Also, it's going to generate oil. Otherwise, higher plants, because no more proteins, no more hydrocarbons, no more carbohydrates, they are going to generate gas. So this depends, gas fields depends on the certain types of, or the certain types of sediment which is come due to the flow of water and which is accumulated in the basin. Maybe it is 100% formed from higher plants, so it's going to generate gas because of it. Maybe this is the matter.
Okay, but why the gas generate for this place except others? My question is, this depends on the source or the migration.
Also depends, as we told here, it mainly depends on the basinal environments. Basinal environments, we do not have any idea. Maybe the basinal environment depends on this, and as you know, the organic matters, in case it is accumulated in a basin, so it depends how to expose the oxygen or not by the sequences or the layers which are going to deposit and prevent oxygen from reaching to this organic matter. Otherwise, it's going to form charcoal or coal. But this organic matters, in case there is a certain heavy deposition, or as we say, so many sequences of layers, it prevents oxygen from reach to this basin, and it means that oxygen index will be less and hydrogen index will be increased. So the whole environment will be a redox environment. It's going to generate oil. Otherwise, it's going to be a cool. This is the point.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you for presentation. I want to ask about Dr. G. The difference from deposition environment. Siba, Yamama and Siba is deeper than another wells. Deep sediment, Yamama, deep sediment in the Siba well, there was produced gas. Thank you.
Okay, in case there is no other questions, let us
No question?
contribute. Any question? Any further question?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
For me.